Hey, it's Bruce from Awesome Arcades. So in this video, I'm going to show you gameplay for the Pandora. I focus a lot on my website, understandably, on the specifics, how the cabinets are built, what the different options are, how the shipping works. And I forget sometimes that a lot of people just kind of want to see what the gameplay looks like or what the interface looks like. So this is the Pandora DX. This is the game board that I recommend for any machine that I sell that has 2 joysticks. So it could be my ultimate cocktail table or any of my other larger stand-up machines. So first of all, I will just say that it has 3,000 games. It's actually a little bit more than that. Some of the games, if you look, it'll be a title. It'll say like Williams Classics. And when you open it, it actually has a sub menu of like 5 games you can choose from. So it'll be Defender, Robotron, Sinistar, Joust. And there's about 5 titles on the game board like that, where you open them and there are multiple games that you can choose from. Some of them have up to 10 games. So like Super Mario World, if you open that, it's gonna have Mario Brothers 1, 2, the original Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, which is from Super Nintendo. Anyway, if you search the word classics, Atari, or Williams, and when I say search, basically on the cocktail tables, it's, where's it at? It's a white button. That guy. On the Storm, it's this button here, but if you press the start button, that's how you get to the search function. And so if you went over there and you were to search, again, arcade or classics, Atari, or Williams, like the name William. Also, just know that if you're gonna search for the title of a game, if you don't spell it exactly as it's shown on the game list, it's not gonna show up. Sometimes I get a call from people that are in a panic and they say, hey, there's no Pac-Man. I thought it had Pac-Man. If you search for Pac-Man and you type P-A-C-M-A-N, it's not going to show up because on the game list, it's P-A-C-M-A-N. So what I would just recommend is typing Pac. And if you type P-A-C, you're going to come down here to OK. And if you ever get stuck or you're not sure what to do, it'll tell you how to navigate the menu. We're going to press A, we're going to back over here, and now you're going to see any game title with the word Pac. You see there's 5 pages. That means there's at least 40 and some odd selections. Could be, or excuse me, 50 and some change. So page 1, page 2, and here we are, the stuff we were looking for. It's Pac-Man. It also shows you a preview of every game, just so you know when you do. One time I had a person say, so is that kind of how it looks? It just sits there? It's, no. So when you enter the game, it is going to fill up the entire screen, and that's just a preview. So as you're going through the menu list, you see all the different games for Pac-Man. In addition, if you press down, it'll scroll 1 game at a time. I'm just pressing and holding down. If you press right, it will scroll 1 page at a time. That said, though, it still would take quite a while to go from game 1 to game 3000. Now, one thing I want to show you is this is the Pandora DX. The Pandora DX has, as I mentioned, 3,000 plus whatever, 3,000 and let's say 20 games. In addition, on the back of the game card, now there's different versions of the Pandora card. Some are blue, some are white. The chip inside is what's important. They have had different cases over the years. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the current iteration of the Pandora. But on the back, you'll see that there is USB port. So I have downloaded games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, something called SNK, like Sam, Nancy, Kangaroo. SNK is a company, they make games like Tekken. Also files that are called MAME, M-A-M-E, which is a file type. If you go to YouTube, first of all, if you buy from me, I'm gonna send you a video. That's the USB card, by the way. So that's what I'm talking about. I plugged it in right there. So if you buy from me, I'm gonna send you a video that shows you how to do this. You can just go to Google, or excuse me, YouTube, and search download games to Pandora DX. They kind of walk you through it. On their video, they tell you to go to a website. I recommend a different website. The website that I like to use is called Vims, V-I-M-S, Vims Lair. And if you just search Vims Lair on Google, go into the vault, that's where you're gonna see all the games. The thing that I liked about Vims Lair compared to the other game, number one, the website that they recommend that you go to, it's a Chinese site. I don't like downloading anything from any place onto my computer. And just as a rule, even if you go to Vims Lair, don't download anything on your computer if you have like important sensitive banking information. It's just like Napster, or you don't know where these files are coming from. That said, the files that are on Vims Lair have been upvoted by the general public, and the ROMs or files that have had the most accurate portrayal of the games, no glitches. They're like perfect renditions, exactly as they should be. Those are the ones that rise to the top and make it to what's called the vault on Vim's Lair. So anything above game number 3000, now you can go backwards. So you see I'm going forward. Obviously you can go backwards, but I'm gonna go back past game number 1. So this is game number 1. Now you'll see anything above 3000, these are games that I've downloaded. And so when you go to download the file, there's 2 files that you're going to download. The first one is the game. The second one is the preview. It's a Windows Media Viewer. It's a video file. I didn't download the video file on all of them. I did on a few just as a proof of concept, but I know what the games are. I don't really care about seeing a preview. Also, this is only a 2 gig memory stick, so I didn't want to waste all the memory on the memory stick for videos. I wanted more games. So you can see some of the games that I've downloaded here. You'll notice on Spy Hunter a video doesn't pop up. That's because I didn't download the video, but it does have the game. That's the original version. Gauntlet, amazing game. Punch Out, The Legend of Zelda. Let's just load that up. That is my favorite game of all time. I don't know how old you are. I am 47, and this was my childhood. Was sitting on Saturdays trying to find out where everything was at. So, cool thing about this Pandora board, if you press and hold the 1-player start button, this is how you exit out of the games. But if you want, you could save your progress. So you could save your progress, back out, turn the machine off, come back 2 days later, turn the machine on, load up Zelda, and then load your previously saved state. If you don't have any previously saved progress on a game, over here in parentheses, it'll say null. That just means there's no save state. Like you just turn that game on for the first time. I, however, am on level 9, which you're about to see. And if you know anything about Zelda, I've got the red ring. I'm nerding out here. I've got the silver arrow. You need that to kill Ganon. You can't win the game without it. I've got the master key. You can open any door. Anyway. And the cool thing about it is when you save your progress, it actually saves to the memory stick. So it doesn't matter what board you're on. Like if you wanted to go to a buddy's house and he has a Pandora game card, you could just bring your memory stick or put it on a keychain. So again, we're going to press and hold the 1-player start button to exit out. And now you've got Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So up here you've got Punch Out, and actually Punch Out is already on the Pandora game board. This is Mike Tyson's Punch Out. This was the Nintendo release and arguably one of the greatest Nintendo games ever made. Metroid, also very high on the list of incredible arcade games. Mega Man, Castlevania. I mean, if you know anything about Nintendo, you understand these are the hits. These are the Avatars and Titanics of the arcade world. Baseball Simulator All-Stars. I was also able to download a bunch of, it's on a different memory stick, which I lost in my move. I've got it somewhere. I downloaded all the Golden Tees, all the Tiger Woods golf, tons of sports games for PlayStation. And one of the other cool things about the Pandora game board is you can plug in to that USB port. You could plug in external PlayStation controllers. So you could then use the PlayStation controllers instead of the arcade joysticks or in addition. So on games like Ninja Turtles. And if you're curious, there is a whole sub-menu of 3- and 4-player games, which, now how did I get there? So from the menu, main menu, you just press the start button. There you're gonna see recently played games. You can search for games alphabetically, and then it's got subcategories by genre: 3D, action, puzzle, sporting, shooting, fighting, and then all your 3- and 4-player games. So for those, I can plug in the PlayStation controllers and I can have player 1 playing on an arcade, on a paddle, player 2, player 3, and then player 4 standing over here, and we can all 4 be moving on the screen at the same time. And I've got 2 different types of PlayStation controllers. I've got wireless or wired. The wireless, you just get like a little dongle, I don't know what you call them, little chip, and it plugs in. If you get the wired, there's only one USB port, so you'll have to get a multi-port USB strip, which I have, and I include, you know, one of those guys there. And if you're curious, these are the PlayStation controllers. Let me get my phone back here. Which are basically what you would expect. The only difference is they're actually not, that is USB. The original PlayStation controllers did not plug in with a USB. It was something different. Okay, so let's go to my recently played games. You can see the things I like. So I'm gonna open this just to show you what I was talking about. This is one of those sub menus where, Atari Collection, what is that? So we're gonna go ahead and open it. We got a little sneak preview. I don't know if you saw that, but it was a glimpse at Asteroids. and go through all this stuff. So here, oh, I hit start on accident. So it's not just Asteroids, it's multiple games. But I believe it's Asteroids and, well, let's open it. Let's see. I got a little too eager. By the way, the volume is down here. I keep it pretty low because I'm listening to this stuff all day long. So, Asteroids, Battle Zone, Centipede, Missile Command, Super Breakout, Tempest. We're going to exit out by pressing and holding the one-player start button. All right, we're going to go back to my favorites list, or recently played list, I mean. Centipede, great game. Hubert, stands on its own. Of course, Miss Pac-Man. This is the one I was talking about where you open this subtitle and you're going to see all the different Mario Brothers games included. Jungle Hunt, which also came out under the name Pitfall. I don't know why, but same game, two different names. There's actually quite a few games like that where they'll release them but have different names. I think this was Jungle Hunt in the United States and Pitfall in Europe or whatever it was. Madden NFL Football. And if you want, you can even get the more modern Maddens by using the USB card, you know, the PlayStations. Williams Arcade Greatest Hits. So this is where you're going to get Defender and a bunch of other games. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, NBA Jams. Incredible game. This is the best golf game. Everyone talks about Golden Tee. Golden Tee is great, but Turf Masters, for my money, is by far the best golf game on this board. It has a lot of variables that make it more difficult, like wind speed and the cut of the grass and how the guys are feeling on any particular day. Are they hungover? Street Fighter, everyone knows that one. This is my favorite game ever. This is a variation of Tetris. It is highly addictive. I've put more hours on that than any other game on this machine. Adventure Island was a pretty cool game that came out. Obviously, Mortal Kombat. Castlevania, family classic. Family Feud. It's also got Monopoly, Jeopardy, Frenzy. So I think this is another one where I think this is Berserk. People ask me, does it have Berserk? And then I Googled it and they said, well, Frenzy and Berserk are the same game. I got to be honest, I'm 47. I'm off by about 4 years off on my ability to have played these in the original arcade version. So usually people that were born like 1973 and earlier are going to be more familiar with these kind of games. I'm like a, you know, late 80s era guy. And I'd never played Berserk or Frenzy in the original arcade. Maybe you can tell me, does that look like Berserk? I've been told that it does. Arcade Game Collection, that's another one. Reopen it. It's got a sub-menu. Arcade Classics, same. Sonic the Hedgehog, this has got all the versions of that. Asteroids Deluxe, this is actually Asteroids Part 2. I didn't realize that. But the original version is under the one of those subheaders that we looked at already. Super Smash TV, Puzzle Bobble, Ladybug. Okay, so I think that's the gist. I don't want to just start opening random games and get too far down the rabbit hole, but this is basically how you navigate the menu screen. You just press start, you come over here, you search for the game that you're looking for. What I can tell you is that as far as Pandora game boards go, there's lots of companies that make JAMA game boards. And I mean, whenever I see one that's available, I buy it. And when I first started this business for years, I was trying other companies' game boards. There's a game board. Let me just show you what they look like. This is one from a company called Blue Elf. Okay. And this. Now that's an old Pandora version. This guy, this guy. So all of these have various strengths and weaknesses. What I can tell you is that Pandora is hands down better than any other game board. For example, this game board right here. This game board has Street Fighter 2 listed 75 times. So 10 games per page. There's 7.5 pages where you're just scrolling and it says Street Fighter. I don't need 75 versions. They're not like different. They're not a variation. It's the exact same game. It's like they're trying to hit a target number of games. Say, hey, look, we have 3,000 games. And I'm like, yeah, but how'd you get there? You have 1,000 games and you listed them all 3 times. I'd rather just list one high quality version of the game once. And that's what you get with Pandora. I've also seen a lot of other games where, I mean, all these games are from China. Some of the games, the spelling is atrocious, or it's just non-existent. Like they name the game something completely different. You know, like Joyful Parade or something, and you open it up and it's Frogger, and you're like, okay. With Pandora, It's the best I've seen. It's not 100% perfect, but it's like 99.9%. I can tell you that whoever transcribed the original game list from Pandora was a native English speaker. And I know that because I communicated with them a while back when they were first developing the Pandora DX. He's Canadian, and I just would email back and forth with this guy, and you could just tell. Yeah, and then if you want to know the things the Pandora game board does, instead of me putting them in this video, just go to the product description for any of my 2-player machines. And if you scroll down, you're going to see bullet points, and it just says things the Pandora game card can do listed in order of awesomeness, and you'll get a breakdown. But to me, the best thing is the ability to download and add games in addition to the games that are on there. It basically has every arcade game ever made between like 1978 and 2000. But beyond that, just the fact that I can add all those games from my favorite consoles, and they're free. You just download them online and put them on the USB stick. The fact that I could sit across the room and use my wireless PlayStation controller, or I could play with up to 4 people, because I have 3 kids, and that works out well. You could save your high scores. Pandora is the only board that lets you do that. I love that you can create a favorites list and search for the games, and some of the other boards do that, but what they don't do is the download and add games thing, the saving high scores thing, and the ability to use external controllers. Okay, if there's any games that you would like to see me play or open, just let me know. I will leave you with some Street Fighter. Dun, dun, dun. That's the volume, by the way.
Street Fighter EX plus Alpha.